The United States has been in its longest economic expansion in history, but good times don't last forever.
If I had to pick a date for the next recession, it would be sometime in 2020.
We would put the number around maybe 25 to 30% chance of a recession over, say, the next 4-quarter horizon.
Now, the pace of expansion is slowing down. In the last quarter, GDP rose by 6.2%. Solid by many standards, but for China, the worst performance since the early 1990s.
China is clearly struggling. Europe may very well actually already be in recession. We probably are suffering the deflation of a tech bubble. Corporate debt has gotten it. I've been saying there's no one thing. This is if we're going to have a recession, it's going to be a smorgasbord recession.
The Japanese economy was propped up by massive easing since 2014. But as you said earlier, in the last couple months, there's been signs of recession. The Bank of Japan for the first time, or the ministry, for the first time in more than 6 years, last month came out saying that they're seeing first signs of a recession.
This is what Mr. Altmaier is saying, Wolfgang. Germany needs to send signals before a recession comes. How soon would a recession come in Germany?
I think the recession in Germany is more likely of the long and shallow one rather than the short and sharp one. It's going to be very different from 2009. What we are seeing at the moment.
I think we're right to take the bond market signals seriously. Certainly in the past, we've seen similar bond market movements in the lead up to a recession. I think the chances of the UK entering a recession are higher than 50% at some point in the coming quarters.
Bank closures, restricted lending and collapsing institutions. India's financial sector is in trouble, and the contagion is starting to bite on the real economy.
A figure indicating early signs of turning points in the business cycle strongly suggests the Korean economy is heading towards a recession. Data by the OECD released.
Hong Kong has entered its first recession since the global financial crisis a decade ago. GDP has fallen 3.2% in the third quarter. Contraction of 1.3% is projected for the year.
Falling exports, slowest GDP growth in a decade, and some economists are talking about the possibility of a recession for the Singapore economy.